Hello everyone. Welcome to this conversation of All About Data. I'm really excited about today's conversation as we're having the very first in-person conversation in this series. Before we begin, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are on today, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. In this special in-person conversation, please meet my guest Lee Apps, Cloud Services Manager at Tekala, which is an Australian award-winning IT support and services company based in Sydney. I'm very proud to say that Tekala is also a customer and a partner of ours. So welcome to All About Data, Lee.
Thanks, Barsha.
So I did say, you're Cloud Services Manager at Tekala, but would you please give us a bit more information around, yourself, who you are, what you do at Tekala, and probably an overall view of Tekala as well.
Yeah. So my name's Lee Apps. I'm the Cloud Services Manager at Tekala, and I manage a team of engineers across Australia, and we support Tekala's private and public cloud offerings. Our core focus for the cloud team is to provide highly performant and available systems to customers that were traditionally only available to the top end of enterprise business. I guess Tekala, we focus on the mid-market here in Australia and overseas. So our target market is that small to medium business and the small enterprise business that we look to sort of focus on.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that quick intro, Lee. And before we get into the meat of the conversation, very keen to know what drives Lee.
So I guess I've always had a passion for technology, and for me, working in IT seemed the natural, I guess, way to sort of feed that passion and also help others, help businesses, and sort of round out that sort of experience that you sort of had as a kid, where you sort of started off playing video games and then you're like, how do I make this into a job? Which, some people have as actual jobs now.
That is amazing. I mean, I got introduced to a computer really late, but you were lucky enough, I guess, to be able to play from very early on and then to be able to make it into a career.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
Great. So I know Tekala is, a leading managed services provider today in Australia, an Australian-born company. Could you tell us a little bit more about Tekala's position in the market and where it's leading?
Yeah, so we've recently won some awards. We've won the number one MSP in the APAC region as an MSP. We've won number 5 in security-focused MSPs. And we've been finalists for ARN Innovation Awards, Cloud Security, and Emerging Automation. And to top that all off, we've also won finalists for Best Places to Work. So, come join us.
That's a good. We should have left it until conclusion, but oh well. So mid-market, very leading in the technology and managed services providers, managed services sort of space in Australia. I guess so. With your title as well, Cloud Services Manager, you have your own cloud as well that you enable customers to use. But what does that title mean, and how are businesses using an MSP for cloud management? What's the use case for why are businesses using an MSP for getting into cloud?
Yeah, so I guess one of the main reasons that customers come to an MSP is either they won't have internal IT support teams to support their business, so they might be a bit smaller organisation, or alternatively what you tend to find is even in a larger organisation, a lot of the specialists have gone out and they've moved on to other organisations where they can sort of focus and live their dreams, but they've sort of left a gap in the business. So what Tekala offers is that specialisation and skills that you might not necessarily have in-house.
Yeah.
And just the quality of engineering and the quality of responsiveness that we can offer to customers is one of the reasons why customers come to us.
Yeah, I guess that's why, all of the awards that you mentioned, but also Best Place to Work as well, all of that time together. That's a pretty cool story. And so could you give us an idea of, the sort of customers that you serve? Like, what kind of verticals, the different market segments that the businesses are that come to you for your services?
Yeah, I guess we don't have a specific vertical that Takala focuses on. What we focus on is delivering outcomes for customers.
Yeah.
So customers come to us, they talk to us about their business needs, and we'll design the best solution for those customers and optimize their environment and optimize what they've got and look to the future and what they can do to work better, smarter, and obviously have less risk in their environment, be more secure, and just have happier employees that are not doing repetitive tasks.
Yeah. So I guess, so then in that customer, in the different different verticals that you're talking to, you're really looking at driving that business outcome, minimizing risk, optimizing resources, cost, and all of that. Who are the stakeholders that you're talking to in those businesses?
Yeah, so we're normally talking to your C-level, I guess, type of executives in the business about the outcomes they want for their business, how they want to drive their business forwards, and what's the goal for their business. And I guess when we talk to customers, we try and understand where they want to be in 5 years' time, and then work with them. So we're here not for just to do a point project with the customers. We actually want to develop those long-term relationships and have, I guess, an ongoing relationship with a customer that we can know that we're supporting them with the best, I guess, quality of products. So when we're selecting products, we're looking at Gartner Magic Quadrant leaders in their field. So we look at NetApp, we look at other vendors that are actually leaders in their field, and we select that, and we do all that legwork and the hard work for those organisations so they don't have to.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said, of course you're solving a business problem, but then you're focusing on that long-term relationship. It's not like I'll solve your problem right now, and then let's just move on. But you're giving them the best of what's possible, what's available right now, but you're also future-proofing them. And with that long-term relationship, you build that trusted relationship as well, right? Like that way we're all growing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when we talk about cloud and you being the managed services in the cloud as well for a lot of organizations, and on-prem as well, but focusing on the cloud, how often does the conversation of security come across, and how do you manage that?
Yeah, so security's been really big over the last 12 months with everyone moving from working in an office, and I probably should go 24 months because now I feel like we've been in lockdown a long time. But so everyone went from a centralized point of view of a workplace with like managed security devices to let's work from home, let's work on any device, let's work on any internet connection. So security became a really big problem. And not only that, we saw in the last sort of 12 to 24 months, we're not only defending against like the lone wolf attackers, we're actually defending against whole countries, whole governments, where they're providing resources to government paid employees to actually go out and attack businesses and organizations and steal data. So it's crazy the level of stuff that's gone on in the last sort of 12 to 24 months in the security space. And I guess to that end, Takala started up 2 new departments, and we started up a dedicated security department and an automation department to sort of look at those upcoming needs that customers have and just better address that from a customer point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. I have, I follow Takala on LinkedIn, and I see all of these new people starting as head of automation, like you said, and security as well. So when do you have a lot of conversations, just sticking to that topic of security, how often do you come across the conversation about ransomware, and what do you look for as a solution in the ransomware space?
Yeah, so with Takala, you're always going to come across ransomware. It's been in the market sort of 5-10 years now, ransomware, so it's not a new thing, but what we're seeing is it evolving from where previously it was one person holding the ransomware data to ransom and asking for money to now we'll take your money, and unless you pay us, we're going to publish all your data on the web, and sort of that has really evolved, and sort of the need for ransomware protection has been, I guess, more and more. So you see more and more organisations, you see government organisations, you see big business, you see little business being attacked by ransomware.
Yeah.
So for us, it was really exciting to see NetApp's press release around protecting data at the source and having that ability to stop ransomware in its tracks sort of within 5 minutes of seeing that data change. So for us, that was a really exciting press announcement to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thanks, Lee. I think there is, like you said, security is top of mind for a lot of businesses, and yourself as a business that supports other businesses. And I think in that space for NetApp to come in and say, we are the data authority, and we consider ourselves as the last line of defense when it comes to that layered security approach. So to your point, if we detect a ransomware with the changes of data, there's a solution can detect it and do backup within 5 minutes. Well, that's very cool. So really excited to, I'm as well excited as well to kind of work together on that, With Tekala's services, could you tell us a little bit about the service bundles? Do you sell your services in bundles? What are they, and how can people consume your services?
Yeah, so I guess Tekala has sort of two, bundles, and if you would call it that. So normally is a whole of business, so where we provide, end-to-end IT, so service desk, designing solutions, implementing that, building it, managing it as an ongoing service to the customer, and then point-based offering where a customer might have a need that they can't fulfill internally. So where we look at, a company might have skilled employees for managing their hardware and their infrastructure, but they don't necessarily want to run a full service desk for 24-hour support. So we could be doing just individual 24-hour support for the customer. We might be just running the back-end systems and the hardware, and they field their own internal IT support. So really, that's sort of the two service offerings that we have for customers or bundles, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty relevant for, if you're looking at that mid-market section, it really gets driven by what their need is at that point, right? And you're making those sort of, services available in bigger chunks or smaller chunks as they need to consume, and what they can afford as well at that time.
Yeah, so it's all about having the best outcome for the customer and looking for the best solution for the customer.
I'm loving that, you're enforcing that point of best outcome for the customer, and so that's amazing. Within, I guess we're reaching the conclusion now, within NetApp, we share values that define who we are, and it's about aligning, committing, and living those values on a daily basis, right? And those set of values that we live and breathe, of course, it's for NetApp internal employees, but we also extend that beyond NetApp and to our partner ecosystem, to our customer ecosystem, and so the values that we have are putting customer at the center, care for each other and our communities, building belonging every day, growth mindset, embracing growth mindset, and thinking and acting as owners, right? So I'm very much aligned to, the two values that are most aligned to me are caring for ourselves and communities and building belonging every day. So I know in our interactions in the last few years that you've been customers with us, and I've been aligned to you, to Tekala as well as a pre-sales engineer. I know you are quite passionate about the causes that are dear to you, and so as we conclude our conversation, would you be able to share with us what it means to you to give back to community, and how do you do that?
Yeah, so for me, I had a really great opportunity a few years ago to do the world's greatest shave, and when I first did that, I guess I sort of stepped into it without sort of understanding the impact that cancer can have on some people's lives. And so I was doing that at the time out when I was working out with Santos in the desert there, and Santos was really great in that they actually flew some of these kids with cancer out to the desert.
Oh, wow.
And then we got to take these kids on helicopter flights around the desert, and then we all got our heads shaved, and we raised, I think it was about $10,000 or $12,000 at the time.
Wow.
And pretty much the whole flight crew at the time got their heads shaved for that. And so for me, that was a really memorable experience about connecting with kids that are impacted by this horrible disease, and actually having that memory for life of just bringing joy to kids who are going through a lot of trouble and that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, big sort of raise, right? $10,000-12,000. That's a lot. But then the fact that they got to enjoy the helicopter ride, that's just, and then you were part of that, creating that. That's just amazing.
Yeah, so then we followed that up, and we did that again in the last sort of 6 months. We did a cancer shave, and raised a very similar amount of money here at Tikala. So we got Peter's head shaved, my head shaved. So that was really good, and at Tikala we work very closely with the National Breast Cancer Foundation, and my wife did a lot of running to raise funds for them. So I think we all know someone with cancer, and it's all going to impact us at some point in time in our lives. So to be able to support organisations like National Breast Cancer Foundation, and from a IT perspective, but also with funding for them, is really critical and important to Tikala, about building that community and building that, I guess, feeling of inclusion with something bigger than yourself.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Lee. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with you all of these years, but also looking forward to working together. And thank you so much for the conversation today. It's been amazing, and the first in-person conversation in All About Data. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Barsha.